Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we'll be going from the 11th of November up until the 17th, and we'll first look at a game or two that have released without being in one of these videos before for whatever reason, and then of course we'll move on to the week at hand. So which games are coming out for the Switch this week? Well, let's find out. Let's start with a couple of games that are already out then, and the first is Salt and Sacrifice. This shadow dropped onto the Switch the other day and is the sequel to Salt and Sanctuary, a very good game that's already on the Switch. And here you'll play as a marked Inquisitor, journeying through the western frontier and obliterating the mages that roam the realm. You'll be crafting unique weapons and armour from the otherworldly flesh and bones of the mages you destroy, according to the blurb, and mastering dozens of unique weapons and runic arts. You can play in both full online co-op or drop in quick play co-op, as well as locally, and there is also a PvP element included. I played the first game, Salt and Sanctuary, and very much enjoyed it, so it'll be interesting to see how this one plays. As I said, it released a couple of days ago on the 8th of November. And the other game that's already out, releasing without much prior warning, is Risk of Rain Returns. Risk of Rain is a roguelike game using a pixel art style where you must defeat all enemies in each section before you can move on, picking up loot as you go and making combinations of weapons as you pick up further gear. This is a remastered version which includes up to 4-player online and couch co-op and a host of other new features. Now Risk of Rain is a fantastic game. I enjoyed the first one more than its sequel, which took things in a 3D direction, so I'd be very interested in playing this remastered edition. As I said, this one is out now, releasing mid last week. Let's move on to the games coming out this week then, and the first of those is Hogwarts Legacy. Now this game obviously released elsewhere a while ago now, and I think it's had its date pushed back on the Switch at least once, maybe twice. It's an open world action RPG set in the world introduced in the Harry Potter books, and you'll get to experience Hogwarts in the 1800s. You'll be making allies, battling dark wizards, and ultimately deciding the fate of the wizarding world. On your journey, you'll be learning spells, brewing potions, growing plants, and tending to magical beasts. And it'll be interesting to see just how this one performs on the Switch. I don't know about the newer generation consoles in terms of performance, but I do know that even on the PS4, it did struggle. And obviously it's had those delays on the Switch, so it'll be interesting to see exactly the sort of game we get in terms of how it runs. This one is out on the 14th if you are interested, and it will cost you £49.99 or your regional equivalent. Also this week we have Astral Ascent. This is a 2D platformer roguelike game set in a modern fantasy world, and as one of 4 heroes, you must escape from the Garden, an astral prison guarded by 12 powerful and vicious bosses. You'll be unlocking spells to use for the 4 characters, optimising a build to try and take down those 12 bosses. The bosses themselves, called the Zodiacs, are set across 4 different worlds, and you'll need to learn their attacks and patterns if you are to overcome them. There's local co-op play included, and it will release on the 14th and sell for £20.99. Then we have There Is No Light. This is an action-adventure RPG set in a grim underground world, according to the blurb, where the remains of human civilization live after a global catastrophe. In this setting, a new religious society has taken form, following a new god named the Great Hand. Once every few years, the Hand comes down to take chosen newborns to the world hidden behind the gates of the sanctuary, and the hero here embarks on a dangerous journey through this hostile world to get his child back. It says you can adjust your fight style for every foe, switching between 4 main weapons on the go. The storyline will take you about 30 hours to complete, and there are 70 plus types of enemies and bosses. This will sell for £17.99 when it releases on the 16th, but you can get 20% off of that price up until the 29th of November. Next we have ASTRIBRA Revision. This is a game that wants to take you back to the golden age of JRPGs, according to the blurb, as you explore a vast, dangerous yet beautiful world. You'll join the protagonist and his talking bird companion Karen as they confront time and fate. The blurb goes on to say that you'll battle ferocious bosses throughout the story, each with their own set of attacks and challenges, and you can upgrade your abilities and acquire new skills in order to make progress. There are multiple ways to build your character, 6 different difficulty options to choose from, and a postscript final chapter to provide extra story after you've finished the game. This is also out on the 16th and it will cost you £19.49 or your regional equivalent, but you can get 20% off of that price up until launch. Then on the 17th we have Super Mario RPG. Now this game first released for the Super Nintendo some 30 odd years ago now, and here you'll find updated graphics and cinematics to add more charm to the story. You'll follow an unexpected alliance between Mario, Bowser, Peach and the characters Mallow and Geno, who I don't believe have been seen since this game, despite calls for them to be in various spin-off games such as Smash over the years. And I must say I'm really looking forward to playing this game, mainly because it's one of those games that back in the day didn't actually release in Europe. As seemed to be the case a lot with RPGs back then, it didn't make its way over here, so it's a game I've never played, so I'm very much looking forward to do so in this upgraded edition. As I said, this one will be out on the 17th and it will cost you £49.99 or your regional equivalent. Next then we have Grotto, which calls itself a mystical narrative focused experience. You are a soothsayer, one capable of talking with stars and unveiling their messages. It goes on to say that in a time of turmoil, the tribe of the valley turn to your powers of divination and come to you for guidance. You'll need to choose your answers wisely as you'll change the present and future of your tribe with what you say, and it definitely sounds like an interesting concept. The one thing I will say that at least in the trailer I watched, it was very much just a cinematic trailer, gave very little at all away about the actual gameplay, which in a game with quite an obscure or abstract concept like this isn't necessarily the best way to go. Perhaps I've found a trailer since that shows a bit more of it from a gameplay angle, but either way it will cost you £10.79 when it releases on the 17th.
And they tried again, because this is a story of failure. But this is also the story of hope.
Next we have Persona 5 Tactica, a tactical RPG, which is a spin-off from the Persona series. I always find it interesting when you have spin-offs from the Persona series, considering it itself is kind of a spin-off from the Shin Megami Tensei series, but this one features an all-new story, the return of fan-favourite characters, and brand new allies and foes. After a strange incident, the Phantom Thieves wander into a bizarre realm where its citizens are living under tyrannical oppression. Surrounded by a military group named Legionnaires, they find themselves in grave danger until a mysterious revolutionary named Erina rescues them and offers an enticing deal in exchange for their help. The blurb goes on to say that you can build your own dream squad, assembling a team of beloved heroes to fight oppressive armies, and it promises dynamic combat where you can overthrow your enemies with powerful personas, an assortment of weapons, wiping them out with style as you go. This is another game that releases on the 17th and it will cost £54.99 or your regional equivalent.
Your difficulty level affects the amount of times you can use Baton Pass, among other things. If one of your comrades is caught off guard and KO'd, you'll be able to use Baton Pass to bring in one of your standby units.
The penultimate game for the week is Naruto X Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections. It says here that legendary ninjas reunite in the next exciting entry of the Storm series, and that this is an action fighting game with fast-paced ninja battles and 2 different story modes. New playable characters join all past characters of the Storm series for the largest roster of ninjas ever, and you can select from more than 130 playable characters. It goes on to say that for the first time ever, the history of Naruto and Sasuke's rivals has been recut and combined into one game, and you'll play an original story where Boruto is drawn into a great battle involving the entire ninja world after meeting a girl in a popular online game. Now first and foremost, I'm going to apologise for any mispronunciations there in terms of names. I don't know much at all about the Naruto series, but if you are a fan, then this is out on the 17th and it will cost you £54.99. And finally for the week we have the Forest Quartet. This is a 3D narrative puzzler about a gone but not forgotten lead singer. You play as her spirit and travel through 3 acts unique to the members of her band for a final farewell concert. You'll be singing to interact with objects, gliding, floating and transforming into butterflies to explore the band members' psyches. It goes on to say that environments and objects add unique layers to the soundtrack, and you must help the band recover from their grief to restore their musical spark. Another game that's out on the 17th, and this will sell for just £8.99 or your regional equivalent. So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. Do any of these games interest you? Will you be picking any of them up? Please do let us know in the comment section below. As I said, Super Mario RPG will be my pick this week. Quite an obvious pick, I'm sure, but the fact that it never released all those years ago on the Super Nintendo means it's always a game I've wanted to play, and to finally get the chance on the Switch is fantastic. Don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to pick any of these games up, you can get your eShop cards via our website, switchup.gg. Doing so will earn you 5% back in cashback that you can then use against a future purchase, and you can get another 5% off in straight discount if you use the code SwitchUp. There's also a link down there to Play Asia if you're looking to import any games. Use the link, use the code stated, and you'll get yourself 5% off of your order from there. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.